Welcome to the Word of Truth. This is Teacher D.H. Boone. Today's message is called Watch Out for That Jezebel Spirit. A lot of times people hear about these spirits and these demons, and the people don't really take notice of it and take it seriously. But this Jezebel spirit is really serious. Okay. Now, I'm going to tell you some of the examples of how you could spot a Jezebel spirit. First of all, the Jezebel spirit don't like the word no. The Jezebel spirit is very manipulative, schemes, and try to play the good guy, the good cop, bad cop. Long as she could be so nice, you know. But see, once you cross her or once you don't do what she wants you to do, and then she will flip like instantly. That's why you cannot trust someone who's carrying this spirit. Some people don't even realize that this spirit is inside them. The Jezebel spirit have a really bad temper, get mad, like to play mind games. She's very deceptive, a liar. Um, can't trust anything she says. She always make promises that she don't never keep. Most of the promises she don't keep is always excuses, and she always play the victim all the time. And what this spirit does is it probe and it listens to all your weaknesses, and that's why God say be slow to speak and quick to listen. But what she does is, and then she try to comfort you and try to make you feel like you're that she has so much compassion on you, because and that she on your side because she wants you to spill everything out to her, and she wait for the opportunity to use it against you. And what she does is she like to feed your weaknesses so she can lure you in. So wherever your weakness is, that's what she will use to lure you in. And that's why God said, don't love a person, place, or thing more than you love him. That's why, and he also said to be in the world, but don't live in the world. So, live in the world, but don't be of the world. That means don't do worldly things. And see, if you identify yourself with people, places, and things, that's how she could get to you. Because what she does is anything that's your weakness, if it's sex, if it's money, if it's a vehicle, if it's a home, if it's anything that she have or that she could give you access to, so she could lure you in, that's what she'll do. She's very crafty. It's a craft, and she have time. She would take her time and she will sit here and she will wait. But, and then she'll come with a sob story. She a big liar. She want a sob story, and she's never wrong. Never wrong. This spirit is never wrong. And see, this spirit not only attach itself to a female, but it attaches itself to a male too. And a lot of times, the this spirit likes to be in control. It's like nothing you do is right. It's like everything you do is wrong. And it's like they like to control, don't like to give you the opportunity to use your own mind. Every time you say something, they got to say it first. And, they're very critical. That spirit is very critical. Now, if you recognize any of these signs, or somebody that's carrying these things, you need to run. And you need to pray, because it's no reasoning with this spirit. I don't care how you reason, how you try to talk. I don't care how you try to be nice. She'll be nice as long as this spirit will be nice as long as you're doing what she wants. Now, if you're on the same page she is, then she fine. But once you say no to something, to her, to her agenda, oh, all hell is gonna break loose. I'm telling you, this spirit is nothing to play with. And a lot of times people, they be like, oh, that ain't, because this spirit is very negative, critical. And the first thing, if you can't do, like to say all kind of, to bash you, to make you feel bad. But see, first of all, when you know who you are in Christ, you're not supposed to never let nobody else put you down. And you are not supposed to love any material thing more than you love God. And if you do, then she could get through you through that, And see, that's why God say my people perish cause lack of knowledge. If you don't have knowledge of things, then you won't know how, you don't know what you're dealing with. You can't recognize certain things, and then you don't know how to defeat it, overcome it, or deal with it. And see, if you don't know what a Jezebel spirit is, then how in the heck can you defeat it? And see, the only way you could defeat it is you can't give in to it. You have to tell her no, and she might threaten to hurt you or whatever, just like she did with Elijah. And but you can't run because the battle belongs to the Lord. What you have to do is you have to trust God and you have to pray. But the thing is, make her you can't allow her to make you be evil and bad like her, because it's an evil spirit. And what you have to do is really pray for that individual, because and see that individual too, you know, don't realize that they doing anything wrong. And but slowly but surely, people are going to start pushing away from that person, because a good person don't like that spirit. A person who's in the word don't like that spirit. You know what I'm saying? And when they start recognizing, they don't want to be around it. Yes, you could love people, you're supposed to forgive people, but this spirit, you can't reason. God have to deal with this spirit, and God have to remove this spirit, but the person have to want it to be removed. You know what I'm saying? But you can't approach a person without the proper knowledge and technique. That's why we have to let the Lord do it. God have to bring people to repentance. And see, one of the things how this spirit enter in is through anger, through some type of traumatic experience, low self-esteem, so that's why God say you have to get your mind renewed and your heart transformed, and see, God could remove this spirit from you. But see, anger um bring that spirit in, and that's one of the deadly sins is wrath, and that's why God say don't go to bed without resolving any conflict that you may have with someone. He said, because the enemy will come along and make you know make a mountain out of a little molehill. It might not be that serious, but see, if you don't resolve that issue at night, then during the night it'll bother you. It'll go over and over in your head. Then in the morning come, then you ready to set this person straight. Some people go far as to kill. And see, that's what this spirit does. It get the person to do their dirty work, to cuss people out, to go steal, to go kill, to go break into people's houses, to carjack, to commit adultery, to commit fornication, to gossip. See, this spirit, that's what it does. And then it try to provoke you to anger, provoke you to sin, provoke you to do things against God's word and his ways. And that's why you have to understand this spirit and take this spirit serious. I mean, this spirit is, you got to really know, and it will play the victim all the time. And this the person is using, it will get like anger. Have you ever seen somebody get like a abnormal anger? And just like every time you say something, they like get touchy, and they always looking evil and looking mean, and then and they controlling. They don't think that you know anything. It's like every time you say something, they say something different. Or every time you be doing something, they try to tell you how to do it before you do it, because they feel like they in control. That they try to control your life and control your moves, and they always have to have something to say about everything you do. They're very critical. They don't see themselves now. If they really look in the mirror themselves and actually could see themselves without that spirit, then they wouldn't be talking about nobody else. But I'm telling you, this is a spirit that is serious. The Jezebel spirit, is serious, and you know she like to seduce, you know, grand manipulator. Oh my God, oh, very cunning, very cunning, a liar, a manipulator, and if you think something ain't right, then most likely it's not. If you just feel your intuition, like deep down, like something just ain't right with this situation, you know, something just ain't going right, follow your instinct, because it is. It is. It is. It is. It's something going on, because she is. And then she like to play mind games. Ooh, love to play mind games with you. Go back and forth. She'll say that she did something she didn't. Then she'll say she going to do something and die. Excuse me. She may say that she's going to show up for something and don't show up. She might act like, you know, be real evil and mean, that spirit, if you're not doing what she wanted to do, then she think that she the victim, and oh, you did her so wrong. She don't care about how you feel. That spirit don't care about how you feel. All she want is for her agenda to prevail. That's all she want. And once her agenda don't prevail, then that's when she gets mad. And anyone who gets in her way, she tried to destroy. Anybody that gets in her way, she tried to destroy. Yeah. So what we have to do is we have to pray. Like if it's somebody close, because it could be a spouse, it could be a child, it could be a parent, it could be a grandparent, it could be a friend, it could be a colleague, it could be a neighbor. But what we have to do is pray. And don't give in to that spirit. If your answer is no, then it's no. Yeah, and then that spirit try to control you. But see, that's why you have to pray and give it to the Lord, because that's why God say the battle belongs to Him, not to us. See, it's a spiritual warfare going on, and people don't realize it, but people don't want to take things serious. But it is a spiritual warfare going on, and it's time for people to take it serious. This Jezebel, she is not for play, and she is out to kill, steal, and destroy. And she uses people. Like I say, this spirit will latch on to a man or a woman. It doesn't matter. But she is seductive and manipulating. She's here to kill, steal, and destroy. This is one of the most dangerous demons that you could deal with. Satan, he Lucifer, uh, he a deceiver too. And another thing, she always like to keep some stuff going, and she like to play a person against another person, you know. And so that's why you really have to be careful of this spirit. The Jezebel spirit is really deep. For years, God have been um, teaching me about these different spirits and showing me how different ones act, and I had to pull away from some of them. You know what I'm saying? That's why sometimes you have to separate yourself from people, places, and things. Number one, it comes a time when you have to have your divine attention to God. You know what I'm saying? You have to give him your divine attention, and you have to make sure that you let him build you up and teach you. Like we have been to school, like physical school, but now we have to go to this spiritual school, and it's time for you to get your life together and get your spiritual side together. It's time to get your mind renewed and your heart transformed, and sometimes you got to pull away from people, places, and things so that you can be taught. Just like when kids go away to college, you have to tell yourself, hey, I'm going away to college. You may have to be away from some people, places, and things for a while, and you remember when Jesus, you didn't hear from him for a while because he was about the Father's business. He let God build him and shape him and mold him. And see, we have time in the world, so you have to think about the time in the world that you have. You know, so when you had that time in the world first, don't you think that you could have time for God and say, you know what, I was doing all of what I want to do in the world. Now it's time for me to give this time to God. Now it's time for me to do the things that God want me to do. For me to learn these spiritual things that I need to learn and get prepared for spiritual warfare, because it's for real. It's deep. The spiritual warfare is for real. You know, a lot of people don't want to take it serious, but spiritual warfare is for real, you know. So, you know, and people may talk about you, because one thing about it, this spirit don't never like to be alone, you know. So it would do things, but it pushes people away, but it don't want to be forgotten. You know what I'm saying? So when you try to pull away, that spirit is going to try to lure you back in. It may try to lie. It may try to, you know, act like it's sick. It may try to pull you in, excuse me. It's going to do whatever it can to manipulate you and scheme to get you back in. That's why you have to make sure that you listen to counsel. You know, if you know a person by the fruit that they bear, and they honest and they true and they're a teacher and they're a vessel of God, you have to listen, because this person knows what they're talking about. So now it's the time for you to realize, hey, I got to pay attention to this Jezebel spirit. I got to look for the signs. I got to make sure I get a relationship with the Lord. I have to make sure I keep praying. If I know a person that have all these signs, or most of them, or half of them, I'm gonna have to keep praying to the Lord and praying for this person, especially if it's somebody that you love. You know, God is a good God. He's a faithful God, and He won't fail. Oh, He won't fail. Yeah. So I just wanted to tell you a little bit about Jezebel and the things to look out for. And don't let her seduce you. Don't let her uh, get you into her web, because she tried to get you caught up. You know. And so don't do it, because that's what, you know, as many people have lost their lives, got caught up in jail, got caught up in a love triangle, got caught up with kids, got caught up with a lot of different things, you know, got caught up, you know, in crime, you know, because this spirit wants you to do their dirty work, you know. And so now's the time for you to pay attention. Okay, bow your head in prayer. Father God, I pray for each individual to listen to this message. I pray that they will take this spirit of Jezebel very serious. And Father, I pray that you help them detect this spirit and help them to deal with it. I just pray in Jesus' mighty name that they won't give in to it. I pray, Father, that they will forgive anyone that have did any harm to them, so this spirit won't get into them. Father, I just pray that they release all anger, they forgive all people, Father, and they will give it to you. I pray that they will take one day at a time and walk in peace with all men. I pray in Jesus' mighty name that you would do for them what they can't do for themselves. You know, amen. Thank you. But another thing I wanted to say, unforgiveness. That's how you let that spirit in too, through unforgiveness. When you are so bad and angry and bitter and resentful, that spirit comes in. That's how that spirit comes in. That's why God say forgive, you know. And because if you forgive, then you don't have to worry about no anger. You don't have to worry about no resentment, no bitterness, no strife, you know, and don't gossip and you know, and you know, and like when people have a traumatic experience or they was hurt or something, sometimes, you know, and they hold on to it and they resentful inside, that brings that spirit in too. So you have to be aware of this. That's why you have to follow God's commandments and his statutes, and you know, so you won't bring that spirit in. Don't worship no other gods. Don't make no graven images and idols and worship them. Keep the Sabbath day holy. Make sure you don't use the Lord thy God name in vain. You know, don't commit adultery. Don't make sure you honor your father and mother, so you have long life on the land that you give them. Don't kill. Don't steal. Don't bear false witness against your neighbor, and don't covet what your neighbor have. And make sure you exemplify all the fruits of the spirit: love, joy, peace, patience, goodness, kindness, gentleness, faith, and self-control. You know, and see, you have to make sure that if you walk in all the fruits of the spirit, if you walk in all the fruits of the spirit, Paul said you will not fulfill the lust of the flesh. And see, that's what happens is if you don't walk in the fruits of the spirit, then it's so easy to fulfill the lust of the flesh and open up a little. All he needs is a little opening. The enemy, the Jezebel, that demon, to get into you, and then she will operate out of you. And that's why a lot of times, people sometimes they look a little different. You could, or you sense something, or you feel something when you're around certain people. You know what I'm saying? But now is the time for you to pay attention to that spirit. I hope that you enjoy this message. Until next time, may the peace of God be with you. Peace.